Yes, I'm going to introduce you probably to an alternative way of handling grain or cleaning silos. We all know about screws, overhead conveyors, payloaders, but this is actually a different approach, which is an active floor, Vibrafloor. That's self-explanatory. The principle behind Vibrafloor is to interpose a rug between a pile of product that you want to get rid of and shake the rug from the bottom, preferably with vigor. This is shows the principle. So the vibrating floor is the black line that you see at the bottom. We speculate that the middle of the load is gone by gravity, and we left with residual piles that you see on the right, and that's what we have to contend with. But we reckon that the weak point of that giant is its foot. So we're going to tackle the foot of it with a small vibrator which is attached to a plate, and layer by layer we're going to destroy that pile and take it out one layer at a time. For instance, here we will have two modules in line, which we call modules. The second module will be triggered only when the darker configuration is reached, and from the bottom up to as many modules that we have online until the very end. So what we call Vibrafloor is the assembly of independent units, self-contained units, which we call modules or panels, that will be on a slightly inclined floor, the silo, or container, ship, whatever holds the product. One module consists of a steel plate resting on springs, an electric vibrator, a proofing membrane around it, everything pre-mounted on a steel frame. So that's what it is in practice. That's a typical vibrating module, vibrating unit. The width that you see, 2 meters 21, is the maximum width that you can reach given the width of plates that we can purchase in the thickness that we require. Now the length and the shape is adjustable to get adjusted to in any given silo or container. The thickness is about 50 millimeter. So that's how we deliver the product on site. It's all pre-mounted. The only thing left to do is bolt a motor and connect it electrically, and it's ready to go. We do finite element analysis to establish what the vibration mode are that we need, which is a sinusoidal mode, as you can see. It's reached at about 22.5 hertz, which means that we excite the plate at 25 hertz with 4-pole vibrators, okay, to enhance that particular mode of vibration. So we analyze stresses, of course, for fatigue resistance. This is all part of our designs and checkings, and every time we do a project and we change the size of a module, we grind through finite element analysis to make sure that we are within reasonable stresses. These are the products that we currently work with. So you have, of course, all types of cereals, including paddy rice. More difficult products like soybean meal, which are, as you know, cohesive. About 90% of our activity now revolves about biomass in the form of wood pellets or wood chips, which is a fastly growing market. And some industrial products like sulfur, clinker, fly ash, and so on. Actually, everything which is powdery or granular can be handled by a vibrating floor. So when we deal with free-flowing products, we just, like I've explained, take layers by layers at a time. And this is typical of corn, for instance. initially told a video which was not loaded, typical of soybean meal. So that's the kind of situation we can deal with. You notice that this is a plain grain silo, nothing special about it. One reason is that the reclaiming by vibrating floor does not impart any stresses on the silo wall. You reckon that if you use a rotating system, you have a torque at the start which will induce reinforcing the bottom of the silo wall. This is not the case with the Vibrafloor because there is no interaction between the system itself and the structure. That's the kind of situation also we have to face sometimes. This is a mixture of wet sawdust and wood chips. So we have, the system with the capability of coping with that type of situation. Well, actually, yeah, that's something I forgot. If you see, each row is triggered by a detector that you see here. So when that detector is in the product, another thing happens. The moment it's out in the air, it will trigger a row of vibrators upstream. So every row or circle of vibrator is associated to a sensor, which actually triggers the vibrators or stops them, whether it's in the air or covered. Okay, so you don't have to touch anything or do anything. It will, automate itself. So some projects, that's a flower vessel that we did in Australia some 15 years ago. You can see the adaptability of the system to the prow, for instance. You can dimension and shape the modules to suit any type of shape. This is a flower vessel that was fitted for a Dutch shipping company. That's sulfur silo in Portugal. This is a paddy rice silo that we did in France a number of years ago. France, probably you don't know, but produces about 110,000 tons of rice every year. Of course, it's a drop of water in the ocean of rice, world rice production, but it's original. It is, it's a very special taste. And likewise, they need also to store that product in a hot climate, whereby we have to provide aeration ducts, to cool the product at harvest and keep it in the right temperature. 10,000 capacity. Yeah, it's 26 meters wide and 38 meters long. That's an overview of it inside during the reclaiming process. You just press the button and the thing will automate itself and self-clean. To be perfectly honest, the little character that you see is a child. It's not a full-grown person. But you see, he's in no danger. That's one thing. This is critical of what we did in Taiwan some years ago. Fitting vibrating floors inside soybean silos, maize silos. We did all sorts there. This is typical of what we do now regarding aeration duct in particular. You see that those are triangular, so they will not retain any products. So we can say that this is 100% self-cleaning. Okay. These are grain silos that we do mostly in France. They're used maybe twice a year, but people still find it interest in investing in a Vibrafloor because they know that they can clean it anytime without personnel, without any maintenance, and with very little energy. These modules are powered by about 500 watts motor each. That's a soybean meal silo that I wish you could have viewed a video from, but didn't materialize. Yeah, you see we have two openings slightly on the side. This one is received a lot of visitors worldwide. We're expecting people from Japan and India next week. This is a high turnover harbor silo in the harbor of Antwerp for barley. It takes about an hour to clean a cell completely. When I say high turnover, it's probably once a week. This is another possible arrangement. Instead of having the reclaiming along a diameter of a silo, we'll have a central point of discharge, okay, which is relates very well to screw systems, for instance. We only have one central opening. It's extremely efficient because we have a concentration of power right at the center, and as you can read, we can remove 400 tons of weight per hour on 8-degree slopes. That's a fact. Next is silos that we retrofit. That's a typical retrofit. People are there, an Irish system which they were not happy with in Germany, so they remove that system and have it replaced by the Vibrafloor. Again, you see the Irish duct on the sides. And this is on the same concept, conical concept, a sugar silo in Germany for Pfeiffer and Langen. Of course, there is no limit in the size that we can equip. This is a 52-meter diameter silo. We are now fitting 63-meter dome silos in England for wood pellets, okay, because the system being modular, you can use as many as you need to cover a given area, and you can achieve, of course, very, very high capacity that probably no system can match at the moment, and for a while still. So each of these, you have a circle type of layout, and each circle is governed by one sensor, starting from the bottom and up always. We're here, this is an innovation which is, of course, has advantages, otherwise we wouldn't be, in business. And major advantages, of course, is the simplicity of it. You don't have any big machinery coming and grinding in the grain. Therefore, firstly, you don't have any wear on the machine. Secondly, you don't damage the product by having a mechanical action on it. You have no maintenance. That's also for a fact. We cannot sell that, because people say, well, everybody said there is no maintenance. So as far as we're concerned, it's true. And we don't have a spare part system in our company, unfortunately. We're always looking for new projects. It's totally safe because you can step on it even when it's working full blast. Well, it could shake your ears a bit, but it can be rather relaxing, together. You achieve 100% cleanup also, if you need. I mean, it's not an obligation, but if you need the time to even dedust itself. Energy regulation is negligible, yes, because you have 500 watts vibrators on each module, which never gives a very high, power intake. It's fully automated by these sensors, and it doesn't stress the structure. That's also important when designing a project. You will probably save yourself money on the silos as compared to rotating systems, which are otherwise do for a very good job. It's not worded as a criticism, but as a comparative advantage in our case. Okay, Vibrafloor is a French company. We are settled in Burgundy, where usually people like to visit us because we have a wine tradition also. It's not only a very floor producing area. So I welcome the assistance to quote for the project that you envisage, and we'd be happy to have you over. Thank you for your attention.